Welcome back. In this video, we're going over how to file Form 941, the employer payroll tax form that you need to fill out quarterly for your employees. If you're a business owner who's elected S-corp status and you work in your business as a W-2 employee, and everything we're covering in this video applies the same to you. We're going to go over how to file this form electronically in a software that I recommend, and I show you how to use for forms like the 1099s and W-2s as well. In going over this form, we're also going to recap a lot of the things you need to know about your payroll because you're going to answer these questions on the form. I'll be showing you a worksheet that I have for keeping track of payroll, and I'll be telling you how you can get a hold of this at the end. So the software I recommend using is called tax1099.com. It's free to sign up and it costs just a few dollars per form when you actually submit the form to the IRS. And so it's just easier to fill out a form on this website over updating a PDF and the chance of making mistakes and that sort of thing when you actually fill out the form manually. Once you log in, you'll be on the dashboard. You'll click Forms here and select New Form. And then on this screen, you can see all the forms that you can file with the software. You can see Form 940, which is another payroll form that needs to be filled out once a year, Form 941 and 944. And if we look at the cheat sheet here, just a difference between Form 944 and 941. In the past, you used to file Form 944 at the end of the year to reconcile the quarterly forms, but it's no longer like that. It's one or the other. Most people file Form 941 quarterly. To file Form 944 annually, you have to have less than $1,000 of total tax. That's federal tax withholding, estimated taxes, plus Social Security and Medicare. So that is not a lot of tax. Think about $4,000, $5,000. And on top of that, you have to get written permission from the IRS. Now we're going to go ahead and do fourth quarter for 2019. Perfect. So sometimes the software does this where I can't scroll down. All you do, it's like a little quirk. You just click down and then click back up again, and there they are. So we're going to select Form 941. On this screen, you're going to select New Return and fill out your information. Now, if you've used this software for other forms, you're already going to be in here and you'll just select yourself and click Next. Then we're going to select the quarter in the top right. So we're fourth quarter. Now the due date. So most people are going to file Form 941, which is due by the last day of the month following the end of the period. Now, unlike our quarterly estimated tax payments and the periods for estimated taxes, these are true 3-month quarters throughout the year. So for the quarter that we are doing, October, November, December, it's going to be due January 31st of the following year for 2020. Now we'll talk about the actual tax payments in a moment. So the first question on the form here is how many employees were paid during the period. So you pop that number in. The next question is total amounts of wages paid to those employees. So let's say that was 2 people, one was paid $10,000, one was paid $15,000, $25,000. And you can see the numbers are going to update for us. Now line 3 is asking for federal income tax withheld. So that, we don't even get into calculating that on this form. That's a separate video, separate topic. And as you can see, the form has automatically put in 0.00. That's what you want to do if you're filling out the form manually as well. You want to actually put those zeros in like that for any line where there is no amount. Now, if you have no wages, line 4, you can see that you're supposed to check the box here. Same thing on the e-file. And the reason that you have to do that is because once you file it once, you file it even if it has zeros. Now lines 5A through 5E are calculating our Social Security and Medicare taxes, and this is one of the things that I calculate in this worksheet I showed you. And you can see that this allows you to put in wages by month and it's going to calculate the Social Security tax and Medicare tax, and you can calculate your estimated tax withholding here. And those are the total amounts that are being withheld from your employee's paycheck. This is the net paycheck amount. Their total pay minus what you're holding out equals their net paycheck amount, and then the total of the withholding that you need to keep aside for paycheck time at the end of the month or when you're making your deposits. So, and then you have your employer payroll taxes as well, and then this is the total amount. And so you can use these, and they're summing by quarter down here when we get to the form, and so that you can plan ahead and make sure that you're matching your accounting records to what you should have. So the rest of the lines down here are just essentially summing. You may not have any of these extra things. You can see this is a notice and demand letter from the IRS. Down here, if you have an adjustment, often it may be a few cents difference from what you actually deposited to the IRS versus what we're calculating up here on the form. And so you can adjust for that here. Now these other adjustments get a bit complicated for sick pay, group term life insurance. So if you don't have those things, you don't have to worry about it. This is a total of your adjustments. Then the qualified small business payroll tax credit, that's a tax credit for research activities. And I'm going to be doing a separate video on that. It's going on my list. And because most businesses are flow-through entities, the only way for them to take the tax credit was for their payroll taxes on this form. So line 12 is the total amount being calculated. And it's totally normal to just have that amount at the subtotals in yellow all the way down, and you may not have any other numbers. Then on line 13, this is the total amount that you deposited during the year. Deposits are based on the total amount withheld from the employee and your portion as a business. So if the total amount is less than that 1,000 for the year, you can file with the annual form when you file it. If it's less than $2,500 per quarter, then you can pay with the return when you file it. So whether you do the return e-file or paper file, you could just make your payment then and you're going to be fine. No fines or penalties. You can use the voucher or you can use EFTPS, which you need to enroll to use to make a payment. Once you go over that $2,500 per quarter, you need to make deposits monthly. Once you go over $50,000, you need to make deposits bi-weekly, and the rules get more complicated then. But if you're getting close to a limit, you can always just bump up to the next threshold. How you calculate if you've reached this threshold is based on 2 quarters ago, so 6 months ago, and the prior 4 quarters before that. So for example, if you're calculating now for the first quarter of 2020, you're going to look at July 1st, 2018 through the end of June in 2019, and you're going to take the average of your total taxes on your 941s. And of course, you could use, having a worksheet is convenient for calculating something like that because you have your totals and you can quickly sum up your averages right there. So most people are going to be monthly filers for small businesses. Once you get over the 50,000, I really recommend using the software Gusto, which takes care of everything for you. And I actually teach people how to do it manually, but also how to use that in my course, which I'll tell you about at the end. So once you get to this point, you're going to know if you have an amount due or if you have an overpayment. Now, because we're calculating every month and every quarter, you really shouldn't have a big difference here. I have a separate video going over fines and penalties, which everything will be linked in the description below. But if you have an overpayment, you can select to apply it to your next tax return or to actually send you a refund. At this point, you'll click Next and finish filling out the form. And I'm going to just show you here on the form the questions you're going to answer. So the next question is about the one we just covered. They want to know what your deposit schedule is. So if you are allowed to pay that less than $2,500 per quarter, you select the first one. If you pay monthly, you select the second one, and you have to enter your tax liability per month, and the total amount equals the total tax calculated here on line 12. And so that's why I'm giving away this first worksheet for free so that you can keep track of your total amounts by month. You can make a copy of this worksheet for each employee and then total them up, or do it in total, whatever works out better with your accounting records. But you can see why it's important to get these amounts per month correct, because you need to enter them on this form. Now, if you are the semi-weekly filer, you would check the last box. Lastly, part 3, if you stop paying wages so that you can stop filing this form, you check here and put the last date you paid wages. If you're seasonal, then you check here and you don't have to file every quarter. You only file if you have employees, but you have to continue to check this box every quarter. If you want to give like a tax preparer permission to talk to the IRS about this, if they have a question, you put their information in here. Down here at part 5, you're going to sign the form, print your name, and in the e-file, it walks you through entering this information, your date and phone number. Now, if someone prepared the form for you, their information is going to go here. And that software I told you about, Gusto, that I highly recommend, they would have their information here, and you'll get copies of the forms to check against your records. Once you're done, you'll be able to submit it electronically, and you can always come back in here and go under View, Edit, Submit Forms. You'll see it listed there. You'll select it and click Submit to the IRS. It'll show as yellow while it's pending, and then you'll get an email confirmation that it's either been accepted and it will turn green, or it's been rejected and it will turn red. I have a link in the description below for Gusto, which I also teach you how to use, how to get yourself caught up for payroll and all of that in my course, Paying Owners and Workers. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you just want the free template, either way, check out the links below for all the videos I've mentioned in this video, the links for more information to get your free worksheet, or to find out more about getting the full workbook, and even my course if that's something you need help with. If you are new to my channel, my name's Amanda, and you've been watching The Business Finance Coach, where I simplify things like this so that you can focus on your business, because I truly believe that the world needs your business. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below if you have any follow-up questions or what your situation is. Otherwise, if you're new here, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.